Hi, Chad here. In today's video, we're going to talk about mowing versus trimming first when you're mowing the lawn, and why I recently made a change that I'm really enjoying. Now, it used to be that if I were mowing with the John Deere 2210 or the Gravely riding mower, I would always trim first. And the reason for that is the John Deere and the Gravely couldn't make tight turns, wouldn't get very close to things. So I found that if I did all my trimming first, then I just knew that I didn't have to get as close to the trees because I've already trimmed them. Now, when I say always, there were some times that I didn't trim at all because it was such a pain. You'd have to trim so much around a tree. So I wanted to clarify that. Jennifer will quickly point out that I don't always trim when I mow. Sometimes, especially in the springtime, you might mow once or even twice a week if the grass is really growing fast. So I don't trim every single time I mow, but I will tell you that now that I have the zero turn, I trim after I mow, because the zero turn gets very close to a lot of things, which means I don't have to trim nearly as much. So I don't mind going back and hitting those few spots that need trimmed, like the edge of the sidewalk, after I'm done mowing on the zero turn. I think the zero turn has cut my trimming time down significantly, because even with trees like these pear trees, I can get right around them with the zero turn. No need to trim around them anymore. So let me demonstrate going around these trees and how it eliminates the need for me to use the weed whacker around things like trees, bushes, pine trees, shrubs, a lot of times even along the edge of the house. Right around these trees. Now, even with the mulch around these trees, previously with the John Deere I couldn't get nearly close enough, partially because the limbs come out, the John Deere's too tall and I can't get under the limbs. With the Gravely rider, I could duck underneath the limbs, but it wouldn't turn close enough to the tree. So I was always trimming a bigger area than what this mulch covers. You can see that with the zero turn, you can get right against this tree, especially when you don't have to worry about these red hot pokers that unfortunately the deer have been eating and Jennifer is not happy about. Now, as far as the sidewalk goes, I actually trimmed it first today just for video purposes, but normally I can ride with the zero turn above the edge, which keeps it cut along the edge. Now, once I get to the step, I do have to come in so that my fabricated deck doesn't scrape that sidewalk. So there are some areas along the steps here where I do have to trim with the weed whacker after I'm done mowing. But I've found really way less trimming because of the zero turn. So one of the reasons that I really wanted this time cutter was the 60-inch fabricated deck. And one of the things I like about the 60-inch deck is that it extends quite a ways over here to the left-hand side. So I can go, along the edge of the driveway, over the top of the sidewalk, and do all that cutting and not be close to my tire hitting the sidewalk or the gravel. The other nice thing is when I'm going along the edge of a roadway, this can actually stick out over top of the ditch, so it keeps that nice and clear and I don't have to trim that anymore. So there are a lot of advantages to having a 60-inch deck beyond just the fact that you can cut more grass as you're mowing the lawn. The 60-inch deck does extend out and give you a lot of reach beyond the mower, perfect for things that you would normally have to trim. Now, even with a zero turn mower, there are going to be some places you still have to use the weed whacker. For example, I always trim around the water well casing here. I could make a tighter turn with the zero turn and probably skim right against this, but I don't want a chance damaging the casing, and it's easy to just hit it real quick with the weed whacker. My weed whacker is a Stihl FS55R. I had multiple weed whackers before this one, and they just were not reliable. I was always messing with them. I was doing more work on them than I was work with them. So when I had so much good luck with my Stihl chainsaw, about 15 years ago I bought this Stihl weed whacker. It's been great. I haven't had a single issue with it. So there you go. That's my opinion on when to weed whack, before or after mowing. If you're mowing with something that can't make a very tight turn radius, like my old Gravely Rider, I like to weed whack first. If you're mowing with something like a zero turn where you can get really close to objects, I like to weed whack at the end, because there's no sense in weed whacking something that you could have hit with the mower. I'd love to hear from you guys down in the comments how many of you weed whack first or trim first and then use the mower, versus how many of you use the mower first and then weed whack after. Thanks for watching. If you found this video entertaining or informative in any way, we'd appreciate if you'd give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you again the next time.